Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a stack of sources, articles, notes, some recent posts as well.
Right.
They give us a pretty fascinating look at an engineering and services company based in Bangladesh. It's called CADSON Engineering and Services.
That's right. And our mission really is to unpack what these sources are telling us about CADSON.
Okay.
You know, what kind of work do they actually do? What machines, what systems are they designing, building, automating, and sort of what ties it all together?
Exactly. Think of it as exploring this intersection of mechanical design, manufacturing, automation, seeing through the lens of this one specific kind of an intriguing company. And there are some pretty unexpected examples that pop up, actually.
Definitely. So let's get into it. The sources say CADSON Engineering and Services, they were established back in 2004, operating out of Bangladesh.
And right away, one name really stands out, Mr. James Martin Adhikary. He's the founder. The sources specifically call him a mechatronics engineer and inventor, and importantly, the key person behind all the innovation works done by CADSON.
Inventor. That word really sets a tone, doesn't it?
It does. It suggests something more than just engineering as usual.
Absolutely. It points to, like, a driving force that's focused on creating new things, not just replicating existing ones.
Right.
And the broad capabilities listed seem to back this up. Mechanical design, machine manufacturing, steel fabrication, and PLC automation works. Kind of covers the bases.
Okay, so let's dig into those capabilities a bit more. The sources go into more detail on their core services.
Yeah, they do. They list project design first, which, you know, makes sense. You need the plan before you build anything.
Standard starting point.
Then there's machine design. And it's really clear from the sources this is absolutely central to who they are. They explicitly call it their passion and profession with precision and skill.
That word passion again, along with profession, it definitely hints at that inventor mindset we just mentioned.
I agree. And layered onto that is system automation.
Okay.
The sources mention this includes PLC automation, that's programmable logic controller automation, basically the brains telling the machine what sequence to follow, what to do.
Oh, the control system.
Exactly. And also HMI interface design, that's the human-machine interface.
The screen you interact with.
Yeah, the panel or screen. And they mentioned doing it with professional graphics design. So they're thinking about the user experience, making the controls look good and function well.
So it's really the whole package, not just building the machine itself, but designing how you interact with it, how it runs automatically.
Precisely. Which leads right into another service they highlight, concept design and prototyping.
Ah, okay.
And again, the sources use that same phrase, our passion and profession. It just reinforces that idea of bringing new ideas to life, testing them out. That seems fundamental to what they do.
Yeah, prototyping is where the innovation really happens, where you see if an idea works in practice. What's fascinating, though, is how the sources also list something really specific alongside these, broader services.
Oh, what's that?
Recirculating aquaculture system design and equipment manufacturing. RAS for short.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that does stand out, doesn't it? An RAS, that's for fish farming, essentially, in tanks where water's filtered and reused.
Right.
So doing design and manufacturing for those systems points to a very specialized expertise, a particular niche.
Probably driven by local needs, maybe, in Bangladesh?
Could be. It shows they apply their core mechanical and automation skills to specific, maybe less common industrial areas. Aquaculture is a big deal in that region.
And if you look at how the sources tag or list other areas, things like food, construction, management, consultancy, it suggests that these core skills are pretty versatile.
Yeah, applicable across different sectors.
It gives us this picture of a company with foundational engineering skills that can flex, depending on the project that comes along.
Okay, so let's move from those capabilities. Let's see how they actually show up in real machines and projects. The sources give us some great concrete examples.
Good idea. Bring it to life a bit.
They do. Okay, one category mentioned, roti making machines.
Ah, interesting. Food tech.
Yeah, and they're specifically branded, made in Bangladesh. The sources even talk about a world-class roti machine, so high aspirations there.
And is there a specific example of this, like a recent project?
Yes, actually. The sources mention a successful delivery, this was April 11th, 2025, of a 12-inch semi-auto roti-making machine to
Coopers, like a bakery or food company, presumably.
Seems likely. And the source calls this delivery a milestone for CADSON engineering. So it's a tangible sign of their manufacturing meeting market demand, especially for, a food staple in the region.
That's a great example, applying engineering to a really common everyday need. What about something more industrial, like conveyor systems.
They highlight those too. Conveyor solutions, they claim over 30 years of design experience.
Wow, okay.
And providing robust, cost-effective solutions. The sources list different types: truck loading, slat belt, spiral conveyors. There's a post from June 13th, 2024 that reinforces this focus on high-quality conveyors for various needs.
Conveyors are pretty fundamental, the arteries of manufacturing and logistics.
Exactly. So competence there is key for any industrial engineering firm.
Okay, now here's where maybe that inventor aspect we talked about shines through in a different way. The sources mention something called a briquette machine.
Ah, yes, the briquette machine.
What exactly is that, based on what the sources say?
Okay, so based strictly on the source from July 11th, 2024, it takes waste material, the agricultural waste, forestry waste, even solid waste.
Okay, waste stream.
And compresses it, using a briquetting press machine under really significant pressure.
High pressure.
So high that it uses the natural lignin, that's like the natural glue or binder in the plant material itself.
Right, I've heard of lignin.
To hold the compressed material together. No added binders needed, apparently.
So they're basically using the waste's own components to form it into a solid shape.
Precisely. The whole purpose is to form these dense cylindrical shapes briquettes.
Okay.
And the sources mention these can be, just briquettes or processed further into biocoal or white coal.
Wow. That's actually really clever. Taking waste and turning it into a potential fuel source just using mechanical pressure.
It really is. It speaks to a different kind of innovation, finding value in what's usually discarded, applying engineering to solve a waste problem.
That's fascinating, that connection between mechanical force and natural properties. And looking at other examples, the sources mentioned like a motorized decky.
Yeah, the motorized decky.
A hydraulic power press, hydraulic oil press, a pounding machine. You see this blend again, don't you?
Absolutely. That motorized decky is a perfect example. A decky is a traditional tool used for husking rice, pounding grain, usually manual.
Right, foot operated often.
And they've motorized it, automated a traditional process that could really improve efficiency, reduce manual labor for common tasks.
Modernizing tradition.
And the hydraulic power press and oil press show their capability with, applying significant force. The pounding machine, another example of mechanizing a maybe traditional labor-intensive process.
It really does bring that idea of smart engineering and innovation they mentioned to life, doesn't it?
I think so.
It's not just about building standard industrial machines. It seems like it's about applying their design, their manufacturing, their automation expertise to really practical problems.
Yeah, whether that's a widespread food need like roti, an industrial necessity like conveyors, a specialized niche like aquaculture,
right,
or finding these novel uses for waste with the briquette machine, or even, like you said, updating traditional tools like the decky.
It covers a lot of ground.
It does. The sources show a company that can, conceive a design, actually build the machine, integrate the automation, and apparently even offer consultancy on these solutions.
Operating across the full spectrum.
Exactly, and seemingly driven by that inventive spirit we noted right at the start with the founder.
So wrapping this up, what does this deep dive really tell us about CADSON engineering and services? What are the key takeaways?
Well, we've definitely seen a company rooted in Bangladesh, been around since 2004, heavily influenced, it seems, by its founder, Mr. Adhikary, the inventor.
Right. The innovation driver.
We've explored their core strengths: mechanical design, making machines, automating them, and also those specialized areas like the RAS for aquaculture.
And we've seen those capabilities turned into real, tangible machines, from the roti makers being delivered to clients,
like Cooper's,
to essential conveyor systems, those innovative waste-to-fuel briquette machines, and even the modern takes on traditional tools like the decky.
Yeah, their work seems to touch quite diverse sectors: food, agriculture, waste management, general manufacturing. It highlights this ability to blend practical, everyday engineering with more specialized or, frankly, inventive solutions.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how innovation isn't just happening in, the usual big tech hubs or massive industrial centers.
Right.
You've got specialized engineering firms like CADSON operating in local contexts like Bangladesh, applying their technical expertise to solve very specific problems, improve efficiency, maybe even find value in things like waste materials that others overlook.
Absolutely. Localized innovation.
Yeah. And it kind of raises an interesting question, maybe for you, the listener, to think about. What potential lies in applying these kinds of mechanical and automation solutions, whether it's adapting old processes or tackling overlooked waste streams, to challenges you see around you, in your own environment, your own industry?
That's a thought.
How can this kind of localized, smart engineering maybe transform seemingly simple or even complex everyday problems that we often just accept? Something to mull over.